Right, Zwajken, when you're ready, do a countdown as you wish. Talk about the run and so on.
Yes. Um, yeah, the timer starts in a few seconds, and I'm gonna count down. Um, so the timer starts. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Internal Darkness Sanity's Requiem for the Nintendo GameCube. Um, this was released in the year 2002, but was originally scheduled for the release for the Nintendo 64. So this is just a cutscene. So the story is about this girl whose name is Alexandra Roivas, and she is in this big mansion to solve the mysterious murder of her grandfather, Edward. And along the way, she's gonna end up in a great adventure. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be a horror-based game. But in my opinion, mostly the atmosphere in this game, that the creepy, chilling music, the atmosphere, and
To think that once
the
I could
layout
not see
for
beyond.
once. So the game exists of different chapters, and you're playing different characters from real life settings. So this first guy, whose name is Pius Augustus, and well, he's just some guy. I believe his timeline is somewhere between a couple of years before the birth of Christ, actually. So I'm gonna start by picking up these blocks. And I got the quick zoom, that's nice. And that's a little bit long zoom. So I'm playing with this a Wii Bird actually. This non-cord controller. So these blocks right here represent different elements. So the red element represents health and is called Chaturga, and the blue element represents magic and is called Uliath. This block represents a fourth element, which is not used in any percent. And the final element represents Sanity, and it's called Celotaph. So the green element actually is quite a unique feature for a game, which we will see later in this speedrun, that you will have some sanity, a sanity effect, and sanity meter, and all good things will come. Yeah, the fourth element, which is not used, is called Mantorok. And it's pretty overpowered. So I'm gonna choose this Celotaph artifact right here. And chapter 1 is done.
That was fast.
It is actually. So by picking up these pages and using them, Alexandra is reading the page of the book and experience the different characters. So this is chapter 2, and this.
Oh, I remember watching your stream of this, and I said I didn't want to watch too much because I would be spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I was saying, her name was Elia, and she's a board dancer. And when monster sees you, you get a green glowing kind of, and that is when your sanity is dropping. And when your sanity is low, that is when sanity effects happen. So obviously in a speedrun you don't want any time wasting sanity effects. So there's a balance how much sanity you want to preserve and to not get any sanity effects. Just simple. So I'm gonna pick up this strange necklace. And I usually don't do it in attempts, but you know, it will gain my health back if I need it, just in case. So this is another zombie. And that zombie's got a real cool pose. Yeah, exactly. Alright. So she just found herself a secret passage in the temple she was being held at. And that guy is in trouble, but I got no time for him, unfortunately.
Nice.
I'm gonna walk a little bit here, because in most games you don't have infinite sprint. You have some way to get it or something. But right now I'm just gonna walk to some places just to keep my sprint full. This is another strategic place to walk a little bit. And as you can see, the zombies right here are going at each other. So it turns out that different kind of elements of zombies do not like each other for some reason. So when they have killed the elements of zombie that are in minority, then they will go after me. And please take the metal staff. There we go.
Someone asked how long the stream will go on. I guess they mean this estimated time, but that's already on.
Well, the estimate is 3 hours, and the stream will go on as long as it have to. I will walk a little bit here to gain my sprint back. Sprint, that is. And a little bit here as well. And there we go.
Oh, I remember when I was watching your stream, we were talking about that this feels a little bit like Amnesia together with Tom Raider.
Yeah, exactly. The sanity effects, I would say, was quite unique for this time being, since Amnesia is a pretty new game. So I just put a metal staff right in some hole, and then voila, the door opened. So they can pound each other all they want. I don't care, really.
There was a question if there's any romance option in this game, like in Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age 2.
Any what? Romance?
Yeah.
Well, there is actually. Chapter 3, I believe it is, involves some kind of romance, which we don't actually are gonna see since they're in the cutscenes.
I have another question afterwards when you're done with that.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Can you ask him about the history of speedrunning in this game?
There is a segmented run of this, and it's like 2 hours and 8 minutes. But I believe, actually, I have based my route on it, and I started speedrunning this single segmented runs last fall somewhere there, and I believe actually I was the first to complete a single run. I was keeping in touch with the guy who did a segmented run, and he told me about some other guy who apparently started single segmented runs but didn't finish them. Actually, yeah. Oh.
From my research, it is apparent that the endeavor...
Oh, that was you. Oh,
Look at that.
look at that.
You have like tons of questions in the chat, by the way.
So yeah, as I was saying, there's another guy who runs it, Lino. Shoutouts to him. But apart from that, there's not much going on right now.
Oh my god.
But luckily, this is a great opportunity to showcase this game in a big marathon like this.
Yeah, last year you didn't run anything, but you were as a viewer.
Yeah. So this is this is big both for the game and for me. So yeah, this chapter starring this guy called Anthony. I love Anthony. He's a sweet guy. Too bad he's being cursed. So from now on, every character is gonna go through this process by sprinting down this hallway and picking up this book, The Tome of Eternal Darkness. By picking it up, you can gain all the knowledge the previous character has learned. So you can see Anthony is feeling a little bit sick in this.
He's not so happy.
No, that's because he's being cursed. Picking up a blue urn right here. And
Just let me know when you want questions, because
circle.
they ask pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was one asking what difference choosing which element at the beginning makes.
The difference is that which one, like the Celototh, the green Sanity element, which I'm choosing, lets me. I believe it is because my sanity can run low and something like that.
So it's basically about your sanity?
Yeah. So that zombie's got a rune inside of him, and with those runes, I'm gonna create spells. So a big part in this game is creating and using spells. And I love this sound which makes when you do things.
When you do things.
Yeah, this chant kind of things.
Ah.
That So that's another zombie with another rune.
Here's another question for you. Were there any major glitches found within the last few months of this game?
Not really. I would say the most thing, well, if you want to go fast, the thing is, and you want to go fast,
Of course.
is to do all the spells as fast as possible. So I'm gonna discover the first spell right here. I'm gonna assign it like this and use it on the broken blue urn. Because you gotta have a full urn.
What do the urns do?
Sorry?
What do the urns do?
As of right now, nothing. I'm just gonna heal them and fill them with water. So in my inventory, it just says spell 1. but since I know all the spells, it is called an enchantment spell. It lets me, among other things, heal items, which I just did. Anthony can't do that. Of course he can.
Why do you use a wavebird instead of standard GameCube controller?
That's actually just a coincidence. All my other controller were kind of, not good, and I just turned out that I actually have a wavebird home at my parents' house, so I just got it, and that guy is dead. But there's no rumble feature in this, but I don't mind.
He seems very unhappy, almost like he's a zombie himself now.
Yeah, well, the curse is strong with this one.
The curse is strong with this one.
So upcoming is another kind of enemy. They are called trappers, and they trap people, obviously. They're not difficult, but in a speedrun they can waste a bit of time. So I'm gonna trigger the trapper. There's those shock waves. If you get between them, you get sent into what is called Trapper's Dimension, and well, it just wastes time. Unavoidable sanity effects.
There was one question about what happens when you become completely insane.
That was just part of it. When your sanity is as low as it can get, your health starts to get low instead. So that phase is not looking good. So I have no sanity left. So the last zombie I just ran into, I was glowing red instead. So my health was draining instead of my sanity, because I ain't got no sanity left. So this is another kind of enemy, and they are called horrors. And although they may look intimidating, I'm just gonna walk into it and bam, chop off its 3 little heads, and it's going down. So this is the end of, almost over for Anthony's part. As you can see, he's not in very good shape at all. And those body blocks, yes, they are real.
This was a very weird question. I don't really understand. Can you ask him about the other runners around this game? I guess you mean if there's others that do this game or not?
Yeah, that, as I said, there's one other guy, Lino87, I believe, who also runs this game. I'm not sure how active he is right now, but he's done some attempts, at least. So, after each chapter, you gotta think, what did we learn? We learned how to enchant item. And how good, because my key broke. So by doing that, the key was repaired. So that is one of the things you can do with the first spell. The Gift of Forever.
Dreams. Modern psychology.
So this chapter, starring Karim, has a bit of a romance tendency. He's on a quest for an item which the woman he loves is seeking.
So we finally found that romance thing that we were talking about.
Yeah. So picking up the tome of Internal Darkness, but also picking it up, the zombies and all the creatures come to life.
So they respawn, or
No, not
just spawn from
respawn.
there?
Yeah, spawn or come to life or whatever you want to call it. So this zombie's got another rune inside of him. And I actually want to get hit by that zombie, because it knocks me out of the finishing zombie animation. saves a few seconds.
How many different characters can you play from history?
I believe it's 10 characters, 10 chapters, 11 with Alexandra's final chapter. So up comes a few trappers. And the pattern can be quite random. So hopefully a good pattern. Yeah, that's a pretty good pattern. Oh, that was very close to getting trapped right there. That was very good. So every chapter has got great music. But unfortunately, when your sanity runs low, this happens. You get into this kind of horror mode, I guess you could call it, with women and children crying, and it's all just not good.
Oh, this is a nice question. How many
And
hours?
that was a sanity effect.
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, you were saying?
How many hours have you practiced on this game?
Not that many that I want, actually. After this run at ES8, I'm gonna get back to getting a good record. So this is another trapper who can trap me, but most of the time it don't like that. So this is an unavoidable sanity effect cutscene, but you can skip it.
Really happening.
And Kareem says, this isn't really happening. So upcoming right here is a couple of rounds of zombies.
Who is the one that has the current record of this game?
It is me, actually.
So you have that.
Yeah. Yep. So right here I'm gonna strike and finish the zombies that I have struck down first. Because the first zombie is already rotting away. So I'm gonna heal up here, actually. And stand ready for the next round. Here they come. Hey.
One shot me, almost.
No. Like that. So the camera in this, along with my sanity running low, can be a bit tricky. The camera can twitch sometimes, back and forth. But right now it's all good.
There was one that asked if your sanity carries over between chapters, or can you stay low? always?
Well, since it actually is Alexandra who reads all these chapters and is right now experiencing all the characters, her sanity is going down low. So by the end of her final chapter, her sanity is pretty much gone. So this is another kind of enemy, and they are called bone thieves. These little so they can either come from inside of another enemy or just be in plain sight. So I got another element rune. So now I can enchant items in a different element, and this time the element of green, Celotas. And why did he do that? Because I'm gonna stick it right here. So all the chapters, they aren't that long.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty short, actually.
Yeah, there are a few that are a bit longer than the others.
Yeah, keep asking questions if you have anything to the chat, and I will return to him.
So, second time a couple of zombies is coming at me. I'm just gonna strike him down right now. I'm actually gonna heal up.
What the hell is going on in this game? Lol.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, that's a legit question, and the answer could be that the humanity is fighting the internal darkness. That's the short answer. In a video game, that is. So by finishing off these zombies, other ones can spawn.
Nice crown.
Oh, we got a king. We got a king.
And we have a cat in the background.
A cat as well. Oh. And this guy got a bone thief inside of it. So we're almost finished. The last enemy is, of course, a horror. So I'm gonna stand right here to lure the horror out and finishing off just like that.
Left 4 Dead is going to be delayed, just because the thing with Dark Souls.
Yeah, it took a while, didn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to take like 1.5 hours, and it took 2.5 hours, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So in the cutscene right there, you get the explanation why he's loved and blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna enchant this item. And the element of green. And we're off to find the next page. And yeah, that's the phone ringing. And if you pick it up, your dead grandfather is calling you. Real spooky. So in the spice jar, there's another page. The lurking horror.
I will not argue that I was shocked by the sudden mention.
By the way, the guy that's talking right there, that's the grandfather. And this is...
So you play him as well?
yeah, you're gonna play him, actually. This guy, his name is Max. He's an ancestor to both Edward and Alexandra. So we're playing in the mansion. And I believe his chapter takes place the 18th century, somewhere. Pew, 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 pew. Get the glimpse and enemy spawn.
Sadly, he's still a Swedish. I mean,
Yeah.
Zwajken, sorry.
So I'm going to kill that horror. First I'm going to go in this room and enchant these weapons so they do more damage, simply.
There was someone that said, if I remember well, you need to finish the game 3 times to get the real ending.
Yeah, that is correct. And by also doing that, you can skip cutscenes.
Is the speedrunning with the real ending or just one ending?
Well, it is one ending, but when you have completed the game 3 times, you get a special cutscene at the end. And you also can revisit different chapters from the menu. So these are Bone Thief just running. So this is kind of a dream sequence. And another horror. Oops. And dead. And this enemy will give me the last element, the Chaturga element. Now I'm gonna discover some new spells.
I don't think this question is really relevant, but they're asking what your favorite game is.
Well, I guess a simple answer would be this game. And yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, sure. That's what I was saying.
That's simple enough. So just got down in the basement. Sure, you can use that right now. Just like that. So this is almost at the end of Mac's chapter as well. Gotta go fast. So another unavoidable sanity effect, which makes no sense just passing through. But in Mac's storyline, it makes sense. So it turns out there's an entire city beneath his mansion, as you can see right back there. It's called the City of Enga, and a few chapters ahead is gonna take place right here.
Do you know how many chapters there is in this game? Because you said the chapters goes pretty fast.
11 with the final, Alexander's final chapter.
Okay. Do they get longer for each chapter, or?
Yeah, some do, but yeah, they do.
Okay.
So that's another kind of enemy. They are called guardians. And Max is terrified, but he's got the courage.
Tell about the real ending about finishing the game 3 times.
Sorry?
Tell about the real ending about finishing the game 3 times.
Wait, I'm just gonna... There we go. The real ending, well, you basically get to know how the fourth element, the Mantarok, and the dead god, and how he plots against the other elements to take out on each other. Something like that.
They also asked if you run any other games, and if so, what's your favorite of them?
Not at the moment.
So this is the only one you run?
Yeah, right now it is. But like most runners, eventually they will get tired of playing the game. So this is a quick detour, but this is gonna show off kind of the atmosphere in the game. By going in this and triggering this, that happens right there. So that is one of the few screamer in this game. So this is another a journey into darkness.
The ancients' influence was incredible. From
This chapter is starring this guy whose name is Edwin Lindsay. And I believe his chapter takes place the year 1983. And I believe the developers actually, their intention was to do some kind of Indiana Jones reference.
Yeah, I was almost going to say that.
Yeah.
I almost looked at that.
With the year and his outfit.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing missing is the whip.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, chat. I didn't warn you because I didn't expect. You know, one of the few screamers in this entire run, so I just had to. Sorry. My apologies. So I just picked up the internal Tome of Internal Darkness. Well, there's that. I believe it's maybe one other. Yeah, it is.
I think I have a good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, I'm curious what the benefit of having Pyrrhus choice the Silas rune in the beginning, since it makes most enemies in the game share that element. Do green enemies have less health or sanity effects, being easier to counteract?
With the Celotaph rune being Celotaph being chosen from the beginning, the Shaturga element is the most effective on the Celotaph, and the different elements have their weaknesses against each other. So by this right here, wait, I'm just gonna pick up this silver bracelet from this statue, and it's not gonna notice that I put a metal bracelet right there, and it's still gonna open up for me. So this is the first of many shield spells. So this is another spell. Those things orbiting around me is shield, and as you can see there in the element of the green, the sanity element. So by using the shield spell against these zombies, my sanity won't run low as they would otherwise. Discovering another. Oops.
Did you play this game when it came out, or did you discover it later?
I actually got it for my Christmas present. The year it came out, 2002, and I can admit it was pretty scary at the time. 12, 13. Yeah, exactly. Like Christmas Eve, I've gone upstairs just to play this game all by myself in a dark room. Just great. And I have been played these games ever since, actually. But somewhere last year, a little bit more, I decided to get into speedrunning, and I started to think, which game? I'm actually gonna use shotgun on this. Which game can I play? Which game do I want to learn how to speedrun? And it turns out it was this one. So this zombie was just body blocking me.
Then the biggest question is, what do you have to learn to be able to speedrun this game?
Well, the spells. Actually, they're since I'm not deciphering them, you can pick up these big stones to code them, to decipher them, and to let you know which rune is called what, which spell is called what, and so forth, so on, which I am not gonna use at all. So that's basically it.
So there's a lot of spells that you actually don't use.
There's one spell that I don't use, but all the other I use. And since it's pretty straightforward, you can't skip. You can't skip chapters from just like that. It's just the spells, basically. So the shields are protecting me from losing all my sanity right at once. And yeah, I just learned it. Since I just learned it, I'm using it all the time. Bankarok, Santa, Xelotov.
Each the characters you play have a weak weapon and a stronger weapon they get later in the chapters.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the different characters do have different amount of sanity meter, health meter, and magic meter. So, like this one guy at the end who's a firefighter, and he's got a low sanity meter but a big health meter, so he can sprint pretty much all the way through. So this statue wants gold. And there we go. So another shield spell. And another unavoidable cut sanity, but I can skip it at least. And Edward is going through the same phase as the other characters. This isn't really happening. So what the voice is actually saying there, it's saying the runes of the spell. 2 spells and 1 element makes sense, makes a spell. So
you never said what your world record was, though.
It's 2:21:38, I believe.
Okay.
And I just improved it by, was it 6 seconds? Just came. So you can see these traps are, you can point them out really. So I'm just gonna sprint and trying to avoid them, but since I'm gonna walk a little bit here, since Edwin seems to be running low on sprint.
This was a nice question. How long did it take you for your first playthrough? If you remember that.
Yeah, wait a minute, I'm just gonna there we go. Assign this there. I believe it was 3 hours and 20 minutes, something like that.
Your first play, not a speedrunner.
Oh, well, the first playthrough when I just got it, I didn't even finish the game. I didn't even finish Max chapter, the old guy, actually. So I just did a new spell. That thing that is hovering above my head is a pool spell, and you can choose it in. I chose it in the element of red, the Chaturga element. So what it does, that it not only does it keep my health going up all the time, it also gives me infinite sprint. Thank someone. So I can just run towards the end. And this spell, oh, I didn't even hit that. This spell will come in handy later parts of the game, obviously. So that's the end of this chapter. And cutscenes, cutscenes, cutscenes. And this is a great cutscene. Sanity effect, I mean. It lets you believe that the game is over. But you can play it, you can keep on playing in the sequel, which never came out.
So it was supposed to be a sequel, but it never came.
My best guess is that it's just for fun. And so, sorry? Any what? Not that I know of. Someone told me in my chat the other day that there actually was a Kickstarter for a sequel, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So that was the ghost of my ancestor, and this is a page just hovering above in the air. And next chapter, Heresy.
In Europe, during the time of the Inquisition.
Starring this monk, whose name is Paul Luther. And Paul is a little bit slow, as you can see. And this chapter involves a lot of running, so the health pool will come in handy a lot. So he finds a corpse right there, and he suspects that a conspiracy is inside of the church, which is a great idea. I love the idea of something like that. So Paul's main goal in this chapter is to collect evidence in forms of diary pages of other monks who have had the same suspicions about something that it's not right. And as I said, it involves a lot of running. I gotta talk to this monk right here. Other monk. No one can stop the Inquisition. Yeah, that's right. There's one cutscene where this a really shady monk
Not a moment too soon.
who says, "The Inquisition is here for a reason, Brother Luther." And I guess he's right, but yeah. So Paul's chapter, it's got some weird. I'm not sure if even if it would call music some kind of something. So right over here, I'm gonna use the first health pool. So Paul's sanity health meter is quite low, and but at least I can sprint for the time being.
Oh, this is a nice question. Are there many glitches in this game?
Not really, no.
So it's just straightforward most of the time?
Yeah, most of the time. So going in this room, picking up this, and we got the great sound by picking up items. This so in a few minutes we're gonna get a visit from a dear old friend. And that is a diary page.
Do you have any thoughts of trying to speedrun any other game?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Not sure which one. We'll see. So that is the enemy that is called Bone Thief, that is just digging inside of the enemy, of the human, rather. And by doing that, they are being possessed.
Oh god. Invasion.
What is happening? Something is happening. So in this room is Anthony. And it definitely does not look good.
Oh, he's back. Now he's like a zombie.
Yeah,
Are you supposed to... Oh, you're supposed to
yeah,
kill him this time.
he's supposed to kill him. And I'm just gonna mash A, this great fighting system.
So it's a monk killing a zombie.
Yeah. And I think that with the ruby inside of his eye socket almost makes him look like a Terminator. But that's just to me. So finally Anthony can rest in peace forever. So I got the ruby and the sword. And that other monk who's possessed just going after me. But luckily they can't open doors. So another health pool in the element of red, Shatruga. And here for the first time is an attack spell, which lets me attack enemies at a great distance.
How many different kind of spells do you have? You said you had shield, now you said you have attack. What do you mean? How many different...
There is 12 different spells. Spell 4, I'm gonna use all the spells except spell 4. So placing these.
How many different characters is it? Because now I have seen a few already. Is there going to be more?
Yeah, there are different characters in different chapters, in all the chapters.
So like what, 11 characters? It was 11 chapters?
It's actually 10. The 11th is Alexandra's final chapter.
Okay.
So you can see those enemies are just fighting each other, and they can have their way. So I'm right at the place where Anthony was actually, and my health is running right now.
Can you increase your health or your sanity?
No.
So if it runs low, you're
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah. By using the meditation rod right here, I gain all my sanity back. But it's ironical since this blasphemous shrine, which Paul won't even go near, is the one item that can bring all my sanity back. But you can, there's a recovery spell, and it differs from which element you choose. So if you do a recovery spell in the element of red, you get your health back, and in green, your sanity back,
But
and
that
so
is
forth.
just for this character, right?
No, that is for all characters.
Okay. There was one that asked if this chapter is taking place in the same tome as the one with the girl.
No, there's not a single chapter that takes place in another chapter. So that they take place in all different times, settings. So right here I'm gonna play this organ, this fine melody.
Yeah, they kept asking if there's a glitch in this game, but we already said that there's not much glitch in this game. It's just straightforward.
Not really. So that is a circle of 5. So it will let me, instead of doing the 3-point spells, which I have been doing up until this point, will let me do 5-point spells. So although, they're greater and do more damage, obviously.
Is there different difficulties on this game? And in that case, what kind of difficulty are you playing on?
Well, not really. It just depends on which element you choose from the beginning.
Okay.
So, heading back to this monk, and I got all my evidence I need.
Brother Andrew suspected Augustine all along.
Yeah, precisely. And I got this great sacrificial knife. So I'm gonna head back to the basement. And luckily I have my sanity, or my health pool, which just disappeared. So I'm gonna be using one pretty soon. So this big cathedral, as I was saying earlier, involves a lot of running. It looks like a Weber. It is actually. I am playing this on a Waybird, simply because I have it. And all my other controls were quite broken. So these trappers, you can just run past them. And they body blocked me. So the zombies, they're very slow. I can just trigger them the scratching animation, but they can body block you.
Can you see your insanity meters somewhere without going into like a menu or something? Because I don't really see anything on the UI. Any meter or something? Oh, it's
Well,
blue or red.
When something happens, it'll show up.
Okay.
So this is me upgrading. Oh, right. So pretty soon, as you can see, these are going at each other. And I would say it's not a fair match between a great horror and that little bone thief. But it doesn't really matter, since the elements doesn't like each other anyway, so... And body blocks. And combos, and I'm trapped. Luckily I have my torch. Torch and fire is very good against the enemy.
We have some really not so fitting questions, but like, for example, what is your favorite meme? Or meme? Do you even have a favorite meme?
No, not really. What kind of a question is
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
You who asked that, you should question your own personality. So this, which lets me do 5-point spells.
Oh yeah, is this a new game or is it New Game Plus?
Well, technically, since I have completed this game with the 3 other elements, so I can skip cutscenes. It's technically New Game Plus, but since as of now I am kind of in charge of naming things and other things and all the other stuff, I would say it's any presents, just to keep it simple. Like if you would just do the other thing, you'd have to watch all the cutscenes and yeah, you don't have time for that. So equipping the sword, and right here, so Bankarok, Santa Paragon, Aratak, Tier, Narrowcath, Redgomor, Paragon, Santa, Narrowcath. So this is me just saying the runes out loud. And finally this spell. So this is me manually upgrading all the spells that I need right now. And assigning them. So there was a kind of a protective field right there, but I used a dispel spell.
To get past it.
Exactly. And here lies my dear old friend, who is now dead, sadly.
You are a clever man.
And I'll fight these two bone thieves. I'm almost at the end of this chapter, actually. Get out of my way. So for any who are not familiar with the game, the upgrade might seem just me saying random words, not even words actually. But if you're familiar with the game, I was just upgrading the different spells so I can use them in 5 points instead of 3 point. 3 point, that is. I don't know how many fingers I was showing right there.
3.
Oh, I did. Oh. And that's Paul. That is the end of him, sadly. So you can ask yourself, what did we learn from this chapter? Well, we did learn how to upgrade spells, but the game wants me to pass forward that little melody I was playing on the big organ. And this is another detour. This guy is just hanging.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Is this game worth getting an emulator for? Do you think? It would be weird if you said no, because you play it.
Yeah, I'd say if you can get the original, but if you don't, maybe.
Much has been written about
So
the
this chapter,
exploits of
The Forbidden
conquerors.
City, starring Robert Bianchi, and this guy is really slow with his big robe thingy. But luckily his chapter isn't that very long. So Roberto's goal in this chapter is to is to survey a couple of construction sites by doing this. So that was the first surveying that I did.
Do this game exist on only one console, or what console can you play it on?
This is exclusive to Nintendo.
Yeah, but is it like Nintendo GameCube or which console
Well,
is it for?
it Nintendo GameCube, but I'm playing this on Wii. So by pulling these levers and these grinds going up, they give the distraction I need so they can go on with their lives, so I can just go on with mine. Surveying the second construction site.
Well, there's a random question that isn't concerning you, but they were asking about Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead has been removed for now because Dark Souls took a lot longer time than it was supposed to. So It will
Yeah.
probably come later on the schedule, but it will not come now.
No.
So you will have
Exactly.
to look for that later.
Yeah. So this is a recovery spell in the element of green, so I can get a little bit of sanity back. And luckily, a sanity effect didn't happen there. It can happen quite often, and Roberto gets chopped off in half.
Which is your favorite chapter of this game?
Maybe the upcoming chapter after this. I'm not quite sure actually. I haven't thought about it that much. So spell 8. A 5-point that is. I can actually summon my own zombies. So I can summon this zombie to,
Help you?
yeah, by stepping into this and splash.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if you as Roberto's self go into that little box, you just die and get game over.
So every time you finish with a chapter with, like for example, this character, do you save your spells that you find on this character
Yeah,
to another character?
Yeah, you get when you pick up the book, the Tome of Internal Darkness, you get all the knowledge and all the spells from the previous chapters.
Ah, okay.
So I just did a 5-point spell, the summoning zombie spell. Yes, raving or about something. So I get all the spells that the previous chapter have learned, characters. Actually,
Why are you using? Why are you not used wide? And do you not see any delay with using your wave bird?
well, I first started playing with a normal controller, so to say. But as I said before, it was quite. The buttons wasn't that very good. I guess I had been using it for years, and I picked up this, and immediately I recognized that this was better. Maybe because it's I haven't been using it as much as I have been using the other controls, but I like it, so I'm gonna use it. For now on, at least.
Is there a 100% run, and if so, what's the world record?
I have actually thought about doing something about it. Not sure what the criteria would be like. Obviously picking up the 4th Mantoruk rune, and deciphering all the spells would also be a thing. I will look into it actually. So right there I used a 5-point shield spell, those things orbiting around me, in order to get across the yellow damage field.
Yeah, I noticed they were red now instead of green.
Yeah, because I used them in the element of red,
Yeah.
Chaturga. And as you can hear, we're in the horror mode with someone crying and all this. Can hit these two things.
Question: are there any pixel perfect tricks?
Yeah, not really that either. There's some places where you well, the most I guess the closer you can get this to almost being trapped by a trapper like I did earlier, but not really. So another 5-point shield spell. And you can see his auto sprints, so I'm gonna use a health pool so I can sprint. So now I gotta get sprint all the way back to the beginning in this horror mode. And the enemies are too slow for me, even for Bianchi.
Is there any way to maintain your sanity?
Yeah, there is. By finishing off zombies, there you can, if you have a weapon, you can get your sanity back, and that is a sanity effect.
This isn't really happening.
Like, why did someone mute the game? You can, by, as we say, finishing off zombies and doing recovery spells to gain your sanity back also. So luckily that sanity effect didn't waste any time. And this body block. But there are sanity effects that waste time. And that is the end of this chapter.
We have time for some donations.
Go ahead.
We have a $25 donation from Anonymous saying, "Oh boy, Eternal Darkness is one of my all-time favorites. Got to say though, it is significantly less creepy when it's done with this kind of precision and speed. Keep it up."
The war to end all
I
wars
totally
so
agree.
redefined how mankind.
Is there another one? Alright.
Keep donating for Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah. So this chapter, starring this guy, Peter Jacobs, is a journalist during the First World War. As you can see, the temporary beds in the big cathedral. But Peter is about to get on a journey on his own. And the hallway. So you can see from each chapter, this statue is building up in this place. And you see the glimpse of the futures, of the faith of the previous chapters. So unfortunately I can't do anything about her. She's lost.
This was kind of funny. Ask him if the AI is challenging, because it seems like they derp completely.
Yeah, they do. They do actually. And that is a sanity effect. And the game will let me believe that I got chopped in half. So right up here I'm gonna summon a trapper actually. For the first time. Gonna walk it in little lists and trap that guy who's in the way of that door. So this circle of 7 once again is an upgrade. So in the near future I will be able to do 3-point spells, 5-point spells and 7-point spells.
Oh,
And
so
that is the final total of upgrades.
So that is the item you use to be able to upgrade things with.
Yeah, precisely. So right about I'm gonna also do them, upgrade them manually. And since this is a marathon, I actually have a little sheet with me. It's gonna have a little bit of look at, just in case. Bangkok, Santa Air attack, Bangkok, tier, air attack, Porgon, Redgomor tier, Narrowcath, Santac.
But it's a question mark under each rune. How do you know which one is what?
Redgomor, Narrowcath. Wait a minute. I'm gonna answer all the question in a few seconds. Redgomor and Turbo. And finally those. And assigning them. Yeah, the question mark is because I haven't picked up the codex to decipher them, so the game doesn't know which spell is what or which rune is what, but I do, so that's good enough. And hopefully that is something that another melody. The manual, the upgrades is something that can be improved very much time-wise. So right here is a door handle.
Here's a question. I don't know what that stands for, but do you have any love for the works of H.P. Lovecraft, which is what this game is heavily based on, or do you just like the game for what it is?
Yeah, H.P. I haven't read that much, but I have read some of his works, and I enjoy them very much. When you start the game, there is a quote from Edgar Allan Poe, actually, from The Raven. So, as you can see, the developers are also taking heavy influence from classical horror stories. Shoot these trappers because I don't want them in my life. Picking up this key, and I'm gonna use a health pool to gain my health back and so that I can sprint. And upcoming is one of the few boss fighters, actually. And there's a lot of trappers in this room, so I'm gonna use a 3-point attack spell, which gets rid of all the trappers in this room. You can hear the sound of them running away, disappearing. So here I'm gonna pick up this blue potion, which lets me in an instant gain all my magic in my magic meter back, because I'm gonna need it in the boss fight. As you can see, I was able to do a 5-point spell right in the room where the zombies, because I know they're slow and they're just dumb. Well, they're zombies anyway, so what should you expect? So this is the boss fight. It's got 3 phases. And there it is. So I'm gonna start off by doing a 5-point attack spell in the element of red, Chaturga, because red is good against green, Celotath. So that's one done. Oh, got me. There. And another one. And right, I'm gonna use the potion. So I have enough magic to use in the second phase. So that's phase 1 done. So the creature is gonna trying to summon zombies, but as soon as I get control of Peter, I'm gonna use a 7-point attack spell in the element of red. And heal up potion. And it will strike in one blow. So that is the second phase. So third and last phase. So it's gonna strike like that. Gonna count them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on a good day it strikes 10 times. On a bad 5, on a random somewhere between that. So that is a good fight. So I'm gonna pick up this thing.
How often do
Essence
you
of Shadow.
practice at home?
For the past 69 years later, for the past 3 weeks, I've been practically practicing every day, off stream, most of the time that is.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen your stream that active. Really.
No, most of the time off stream. Just practicing runes, upgrades. I don't believe just streaming me manually doing upgrades time after time is that entertaining. And she can't get the blood out. But she gives me the basement key at least. So I can get down in the basement. And just like that, I'm gonna place this penny right here, a lucky penny, very important. It's gonna light up this room where the next page is gonna be.
A penny's gonna do that?
Yeah, by placing the penny in the fuse box, somehow it works. Not sure how. I guess because it's a lucky penny, it gives luck, or I don't know, really. And this chapter is called A Legacy of Darkness.
Free to leave this plane.
And it is starring Edward, Alexandra's grandfather. And it takes place the year 1952 in the mansion. So now we're playing as his grandfather, but as her grandfather, in his prime, I would say. He's got a quite good sprint.
In his prime. What is the most difficult route you can choose in this game? Or is there any?
Well, since the chapters are, you can't skip any.
Linear?
Yeah, exactly. Since you can skip them, it will be most just choosing to use bad spells at a bad time. Not keeping your sanity or health meter up as much. Something like that. So just as Alexander, I'm gonna adjust this clock to 3:33. And the ghost of Max is showing me to to the book and pew 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 pew. So right up here I'm gonna assign a few spells. Oops. Just like this. And enchant this revolver. And there's a creature. I believe it's called a vampire, actually, because I guess it sucks blood out of people.
Sucks.
Yeah. And by doing that, the human is possessed somehow.
This is a very weird question. Could you describe the first 10 chapters as a kind of a tutorial and the final chapter is the game? Question mark.
Well, not really. I would say the chapters involving the upgrades are the most important, and that is usually also when I assign the spells, the quick spells, so I can use them on my D-pad fast. Those chapters, in my opinion, is the most chapters that happen, chapters that are most blah 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 words. They are important.
To the story.
Well, that's the thing is, every chapter has its own importance, since you see if you look at the cutscenes, which I've skipped obviously, many of the ghosts that are reappearing in the chapter, in each one's chapters, passing along the knowledge and so on to the next generation who are fighting, since they are all fighting the same darkness. So, yeah.
So the last 11th chapter, that is the final chapter that combines all the other 10.
Yeah. Exactly. So right over here, it's just a waiting period, just waiting for the creature, for the vampire to appear, right here again.
Question, do you play any other consoles than this? I think that is a general question.
No, I'm quite the Nintendo guy, actually. If there are any other questions or donation or some kind, because this is just a waiting period.
It looks like donation is quite empty. And the question is quite empty right now.
Oh, it showed up quite
Just
fast.
in time.
Yeah. So,
Do we have more donations? No. Remember to give donations to Dr. Without Borders if you want to help. Every penny counts.
it sure does.
Which number of chapter are we on now?
I believe this is the 9th. Die already. So Edward's chapter is mainly taking place in the city, this city, underneath his mansion, the city of Enga. But since Max did only come this far, Edward is going to greater length. So right here I'm gonna use a 7-point health pool so I can run. And it doesn't really matter that I ain't got no sanity left, since there aren't really happening any sanity effects in this chapter actually. So those two enemies are very weak. So this chapter is mainly about doing a great spell, this room right here, by activating these things and getting transported, stepping into that and getting transported into one of those things. You can choose a rune, and this rune will be this one, which is called Redgomor, and the English word for it is area. So I will be heading back from all the time to the main spell room to activate another rune, stepping inside, choosing another rune, and heading back. So this chapter, I would say, is one of the most. Not only is it that one of the most chapter that are longest, but also a lot of sprinting, and it's a little bit dull, this chapter actually, since it mostly involves running, heading towards back to the main spell room. So right here, activating another rune. And we have even got no music, just this horror mode. So I'm just sprinting past them.
First question, do you speak any Spanish?
No.
Yeah,
Well,
there wa-
school Spanish.
Yeah, there was one that asked you to answer a question in Spanish.
That I'm afraid I can't do. I can basically say some
What-
goofy stuff.
Yeah. What Lovecraft tale this was inspired on? That was a question. If you knew
Well,
that.
no, not really, since I haven't read all of them, just some of them. But I do believe there's quite a element in Lovecraft which is in most stories, which the main character is going crazy, and I guess with the sanity meter and the sanity effect and all this, that is an influence, I would say. So my health pool is gone, so I'm gonna use another health pool. Did I activate this one? Yes, I did. So this one. Well, I like the idea that your character is somewhat going crazy as you playing along with the game, um, and I guess games like, as mentioned earlier, like Amnesia, have taken up on this as well, especially since I believe there's some place called Arkham, and that is taken directly from Lovecraft, the world of Lovecraft.
Yeah, yeah. Was this the first game that actually used the hysteria mode for a game, or have you heard it from any earlier games than this?
I'm not sure actually. I mean, there's got to be somehow uh, in some game a different kind of mode when you have low health uh, or something like that. But as far as I know, this is one of the first games that actually have some kind of sanity meter or something that keeps track of your sanity and explicitly gives effects of how low your sanity is. So heading back once again.
One of the insanity effects is save file being deleted. Ask him if he freaked out the first time it happened to him.
Yeah, that one is a classic. The one that struck me the most the first time that happened was I got the blue screen of death, and I was actually stunned and didn't know what happened. Although it lasted only a few seconds, I really didn't believe that the game developers had put that in the game.
So it was like supposed to be there?
Yeah, it is. Other things that you know, as a speedrunner, as as a speedrunner, most people say that, oh, my game that I'm running is evil, with the RNG being not friendly and so on. This game actually explicitly tricks you into believing that the game is somehow broken, like with the blue screen of death, or like the save file being deleted. There's also one where the game wants you to believe that your controller has been unplugged at the same time as you. Most happens when you enter a room and come up a little screen and it says the controller is unplugged, and at the same time a bunch of zombies are gathering up on you, so you can't do anything supposedly. Stuff like that.
Well, we have already said that there's no big tricks in this game. It's all about just doing it as fast as possible, because
Yeah.
the chapter is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
We could ask though, when it comes to the building of the spells, is there anything special about that you have to consider when you run this?
Well, I would say if you want to learn all the spells manually, like this, like they're all these spells, and you gotta learn them by memory. If you want to do that, then sure. This one right here.
Oh, this is an interesting question. You mentioned that you will be using all spells except one. What does the one spell do that you're not going to use?
Now I've forgotten what it's called. It's spell 4 anyway, and it's a damage field. Are you familiar with it? What it does anyway, it lets you do a little feel around you, so that enemies can't attack you. But since I'm on the run all the time, it's not very good to use it, like stopping and using it. But all the other spells are being used.
Is there any spells that is more powerful than the other and other spells?
No, that's just how big spell you want to do. If you want to do a 3 point, 5 point, or 7 point, and how much damage they will take.
So none is OP. It's just about countering things that is happening.
Yeah, like this, for instance. There's a bunch of trappers in this room. So what I could do is I could do a 3 point spell. I could also do a 7 point or a 5 point, but I would just have to do a 3 point spell to get rid of them. But right now I choose just to sprint past them because there's not very big chance of them actually hitting me. So finally, last rune to activate. And last health pool as well.
Also another kind of good question. What is the hardest part about running these games? What are the biggest challenges in this game?
The biggest challenges is, for me at least, is the upgrades. Since this being marathon, I'm gonna choose this route. It's gonna be this one. Since this is a marathon, since I have my little cheats right here, in case I have forgotten something, or it is actually the spells and this great spell that I have written down. All the other things that it's not very hard to memorize, I'd say.
Did you route your route yourself, or did you follow someone else's that had made something
I have
first?
based it most of the segmented run. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. But since he's using, at least in my opinion, some very risky strats, since they're segmented, and this is a single segment, I have adjusted it a little bit.
How long did it take for you to create it yourself?
To what, sorry?
To create your route yourself, how long did that take?
Well, it most basically just, should I use this spell right here? No, it's best if I use this spell right here, or something like that. So that was his chapter. Is it best if I use a recovery spell to gain my sanity back, or is it best to use a health or a sanity pool instead? Which will work out best. So you can see Alexandra's sanity is quite low, since she has experienced all the previous chapters.
So does this mean we're on the 11th chapter now?
This will be the 10th.
Okay, 10th.
So we're right at the end, actually. And the last page, since the last page is coming up, but not the last chapter. The last page is very short.
I don't understand if this is a real question, but it says tells us about a spell that turns into a small creature and get the mantle rune.
Yeah, that's how you collect the fourth element, the element which is called Mantorok. So in Edward Lindsay's chapter, there's a place where you can summon a trapper, the spell 6, to get in a little bit in a small hole, and you can get the fourth element.
Is it possible to play this on Wii U as well?
I don't believe so, since this is GameCube. And as far as I know, you can play GameCube games on Wii U, unless something new had happened very recently. So last page, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Wherever disaster and death lurk, there is like...
So this chapter, the 10th chapter, starring this firefighter, Michael. And there's a body lying right there. You can equip yourself with all kinds of weapons, which I did quite a long time. But then I decided to go with the segmented strat. This is a segmented strat. Do not pick up them, which is a little bit more risky, but you gotta go YOLO all the way, right?
YOLO.
There's a few places like in this hallway where there are trappers, where if you had a weapon you can just shoot them. But it's quite easily just to run past them. So if anyone who played this game or this know how difficult this controller are and how awful they are very difficult to control. Actually, as you can see, the struggle is real. This is terrible, actually.
I guess you're supposed to aim at something special.
Yeah, I'm gonna what is I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the sunlight. Oh, there we go. I was trying to get the sunlight at that thing, and now, oh,
That was fast.
the second was much faster, and the third one is in the middle. Oh, the first one. So I believe this is some kind of Indiana Jones reference, actually. I believe he did something familiar. As you can see, the hallway is now full, since this is the last chapter, or last page rather.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get the glimpse of all the previous chapters. So I'm gonna sign this right here.
Something that hits me is they related to each other with each in this book? I mean, these characters, are they related in some way, or it's just that just because you touch the book you get? Because the book is relevant between each characters, but are they relevant?
Yeah, well, the main Alexandra, obviously her grandfather is one of the heroes.
Yeah.
Fighting the darkness, as well as their ancestor Max, who all had their chapters in their mansion. So they obviously are related, and their last name is Savior, or Ravus, which is their back. Oh, I didn't get trapped. That's nice. You can easily get trapped there. So they related anyway, but not the other ones. So I'm gonna summon a trapper and trap this block so I can get down there. So there was a lot of trapper in the previous room, but I got it away safely. And unavoidable sanity effects. Another 2 trappers I'm gonna try to trigger. That's 1. That's 2. Nice. So up until this point I haven't been trapped a single time, and that is good.
I've seen red and I've seen green, but I've not seen the blue. Which is that before?
Since Michael's this firefighter's he's got a big health meter, but he doesn't have a big he's got quite a tiny magical meter. So I actually did a pool spell in the element of blue, the magic, so my magic regains a lot faster than it usually does, since there's a lot of spells going on.
Question: have you ever played Call of Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. Oh, as far as I can tell, there's not the humankind are not supposed to, cannot pronounce it. But Cthulhu something. No, but I have not. So I'm gonna mix those 2 and enchant them in the element of red. A 7-point tiny penis meter. Keep it classy. Keep it classy. So this is the same place where Roberto was. But this time I'm gonna blow this place up instead of surveying it. So I'm gonna place this C4 bomb, and I gotta get the hell out of here. So another shield spell in order to get past this damage field. And right about here I'm gonna use a recovery spell actually to get a little bit health back. I know that the segmented run does not do any recovery spells in this chapter. But what could happen, since I haven't got no sanity left, is that when I see these 2 monsters right here in this hallway, my health is going down so low that Michael is going to start to limp. But luckily that didn't happen. So
2 minutes until destination.
that is Michael's chapter.
So basically we're on chapter 11 now.
Yeah. The final chapter. And finally Alexandra is gonna do some spells of her own.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Suddenly there's a bunch of zombies in my house. Like, who invited them? And this very fake wall. Can adjust these mirrors. Get in there. There we go. So by giving the sunlight to this door, I can get access to the city of Enga, where Alexandra's chapter also will take most of its place. This is the last chapter. Can I open it up? So now I got the essence of Uliath, the essence of Chaturga, and the essence of Mantorok. But the essence of Uliath, or Xel'lotath rather, is the one that I'm gonna be fighting. So I'm gonna do... Yeah, right. And finally doing a 7-point recovery spell to gain all my sanity back. And back to the city of Enga, or for the first time for Alexander at least. So for the second time and for the last time, I'm gonna do a great big spell, just like in Edward's chapter. So there's gonna be a little bit of running in this chapter as well. So first off, I'm gonna do a 7-point shield spell in order to get through the damage barrier, and then I'm gonna do a dispel spell. Because there was something blocking the door.
So basically the shield lasts until the last ball disappears, I guess.
Yeah, precisely. Alright. I forgot, I gotta place the essence first. And once again, I'm gonna have a quick look at my little cheat, just in case. So mixing these two together, and just like that. And placing the final essence. And we're back on. So first activating the rune. And this one will be a rune called Tear. And the translation is summon, because I'm gonna summon the last boss. So heading back to the main spell room. Back to business. So since the damage field's pretty much all over the place, there's a lot of shield spell I'm gonna be doing. And here we are. And activating this one. So that there's a total of 9 runes in this room. So this is the second one. And there's a trapper right here, I'm gonna shoot it. And we got some sunlight in this room. It's
Is it
morning.
right into your eyes? Almost.
Yeah, that's... yeah. So I gotta sneak through this phase. Unless I want a sanity effect, that is. The sunlight is bright. It's almost... I can make this. It's almost ironic that I'm playing Eternal Darkness. And I just made it. So there's another 7-point shield spell right there.
Feels like the game has gone pretty fast though. It's very fast paced, it's short chapters. Not
Yeah, there is.
Not much puzzles, it's just straight ahead.
Yeah,
all the
there
time.
is.
Like anyone could do it. I don't mean that as an offense.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
like-
no.
Feels pretty like an easy game.
Yeah, it is. And I would say actually that is one reason that I picked this up. Picked this game up to speedrun. That is... It seemed quite easy.
Like for your first speedrun, it would be nice to have something that didn't take too much energy.
Precisely. So right here I'm gonna summon a blue trapper. Yeah, thanks. And to walk it right into this. So in Edward chapter, you were in this very same room, and you pulled out a lever, and you actually released these three kinds of enemies. Now Alexandra's got to go back and finish and replace them in this kind of museum. I guess. So a blue trapper, a red zombie, and a green horror. I'm gonna summon. Which is why I have the magic pool. That thing that is hovering above my head. So I'm just...
She doesn't look so happy either, kind of crouching.
Yeah, that's was maybe because I ran and sneaked at the same time, so it was kind of
okay.
almost skating some kind of. So this is the first and only time you summon a horror. And there it goes. And I can get back to the main spell room. As you can see, there's a lot of boxes and a lot of kind of enemies in that room. Activating this one.
Does it? Is it any difference depending on which one you activate, or can you only activate?
You can activate
one?
them in which order you want. This route, however, is because I need a lot of magic. The previous rune, and in this rune, in this room as well, I'm gonna need a lot of magic. So that's why I'm doing them
In a
after each
special
other.
order.
Yeah. So that is a bind spell, and it lets possess one of those creatures. Because I can't get through unless there's only one horror standing. Come on, there we go.
Ah, Groken had a question. Are there even any Europeans running all dungeons? I don't even know if he's talking about this game.
No, not sure either.
If
What
he
do you
doesn't-
mean?
If he doesn't mean dungeons by chapters.
I
We're
have
doing all the
no
chapters.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he has his own conversation.
And the 7-point up, and assign this there.
I haven't played this game before, and I must say it makes no sense to me so far.
Yeah, I totally get that. Since I believe it's two other things. For the first off, since I haven't deciphered the spells in the spell menu, is just say spell. They are just numbers. And second off, since I have them on quick spell on my D-pad, I just do them as quick as possible. Yeah. But there's a lot of spells going on. Just take my word for it. Oops, that's not the rune I want. The rune I want is creature. Air attack. So basically I'm building a giant summon spell to summon the last boss. That is what Alexandra is doing right now.
They keep asking if this is PB pace.
I'm not sure.
205, 26.
I don't think so actually. I made some minor mistake previously. Waste a little bit of time. So since a spell is just exists of 2 runes and 1 element, the other thing that most runes or upgrades are built of is the Paragon, and is which I'm choosing right. That is the rune of Paragon, and the translation is power. So by powering up the spells, they are being more powerful.
So what you're doing right now is upgrading the spells as well, or what are you doing?
No, I have
Since you
upgraded
said
them.
power and that, I mean.
No, I just meant that usually when I do a 7-point spell, the voice that is saying the rune is mostly saying the Paragon rune, since it is powering up the spell. It's a little bit complicated.
Okay. No worries.
And another Paragon. Yeah, right. Activating the 7th rune out of 9. So we're almost there. Another Paragon. Power. I usually say the rune in its original name. So this rune contains 3 element stones, just like the one that the vampire had. So in this room I'm gonna do a 7-point attack spell to attack all the 3 stones. And I have forgotten. Oh, well, what's up? Of course. Just like that. So heading back to the main spell room. Got a few runes to activate left, and then it's the last boss and the last of this run. And activating this one. Oops, there we go. And this will be another power. So instead I have a revolver, I can shoot I could choose to shoot those 3 trappers, but instead I just did a 3-point attack spell, so I can get rid of them in one single blow. This I can make. And I just made it. So now I'm gonna activate the last rune in this great spell. The middle one. And this will determine the element of my choice. And of course it's gonna be red. So that's power, creature, power, power, Shaturga element, power, power, summon, and power.
And then it's the boss time, right?
Yes. So last assigning. And we're off. Last heading back. So what I want actually is I want to get rid of all my shields actually. So I'm gonna stand here a little bit. There we go. And this is the one and only time I save the game. 2:11. I guess that's good. So last final boss. The darkness comes. So the last boss is Pius Augustus, the first character we played in the first chapter. And my goal is to destroy his rune, his Celototh rune. So I'm gonna start up by enchanting this item. And by enchanting it, I can hit him to spawn his element.
Can you just let us know when we've got a moment to read the donation?
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Yep. So from Brian Bunz, AJ Wolf. Eternal Darkness is great. Love crafting and goodness. With the amount of $25.57, a very oddly specific amount. Thank you very much, AJ. Really appreciate it.
Much. So what is happening right now is that the previous characters actually actually are assisting Alexandra in the final battle. So in some way they haven't left Alexandra the entire time. They are with her. So this is Karim. And this will be Max. Slow Max. That was a good spawn.
So they are randomly spawned.
Yeah, where the essence is gonna spawn is totally random. Oh, this is not good actually. This is not good actually. I'm gonna try to lure him in here. Yeah, so his element just got destroyed and my health is running very low. So I'm actually gonna heal up. Just like that. If I hadn't lost that much health, I would have enchanted this shotgun, which was my intention from the beginning. Just like this. And I actually died.
Aww.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. Yeah, I died at the final boss actually.
This isn't Dark Souls.
No, no. Good thing I saved for the last boss. So this is definitely not PB. So yeah, once again. That is very unfortunately. What can you do? Alright. I haven't died there in a long time actually. So once again, I believe it can do something with that. I got hit as Alexandra a few times more than I should have. So once again, I gotta destroy his element. And the only way to do that is to hit him with this enchanted item. So the one time I needed to save, I actually saved. So that's good, I guess. That is a very good spawn. So once again, the previous characters are assisting Alexandra in the final fight. So Elia. And Anthony. Good old Anthony. And Kareem once again. Cutscene, cutscene, cutscene. And Max. Once again, once again. So Robert Bianchi is the last character to health. So the element is destroyed. And enchanting the shotgun, which will finish him off. So now that I got much health, I don't really care. And get ready on time. The last thing to do in this run is to choose one last rune. And time!
That's the ticket.
220, yeah.
And so it comes to pass.
Good game. Wait. 220. Oh.
Oh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is a record actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's a new
Confirmed
world record.
new world record here live.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh, I feel such a scrub for doing a new record on a marathon marathon attempt, and I died at the last boss as well.
It could have been even better then.
Such a scrub. So I've overcome the darkness that prevailed for over 2 millennia. This accomplishment will begin a new era for humanity. Now, would you like to recall this grand occasion for the pages of human history? Yes, save and continue. Yeah, scrubtastic. Yeah, that is all for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking by.
All right, cool. Well done, Zwajken. Is that our first world record here? A long stream.
I think so.
Yeah, pretty sure it is.
There's been a handful backstage, but we'll get to
Oh.
those later. We had the Kingdom Hearts 2 record got beaten by Bloody Biscuits earlier today.
Oh, I see.
Or earlier yesterday, whatever you want to go with that one.
Yeah.
And now we are ahead of schedule very suddenly, thanks to that
Oh.
massive...
A record
cut.
and ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
What is this sorcery?
We have a spare half hour as well before Bubble Ghost even is meant to start, so we're actually 45 minutes ahead of schedule, including a setup block. So what we're going to do is try and figure out where these guys are and see if we can get them starting early.
Yeah.
We are not about to stop for half an hour and do nothing and then